Salutations, my fellow robots and drones. I'm your host, Nokia the Robot. Do you like Pokemon fan games? I sure used to, back when I was in my Pokemon phase. If you know me from then, no you don't. But after a while, they all just kinda felt the same. So I haven't really touched up on one until very recently, when I came across the Pokemon horror fan game Pokiman by none other than Vibing Leaf. Now, Pokemon is no stranger to horror. Creepypastas like Hypno's Lullaby or Lost Silver are some of the most well-known examples, but here's one problem with them. They aren't that scary. When you actually sit down to play them, you can sit down and play through the entirety of Lost Silver and barely have any reaction other than, okay, my team has changed. This is a problem that Pokiman fixes, but not through scary jump scares, but rather through what the game portrays and the disturbing details it has. So buckle up folks, because it's time to take a deep dive into the most disturbing Pokemon fan game on the internet. Obvious spoiler warning, you were warned. Now, Pokiman as a game really goes for that scuffed low-budget scam game vibe you'd find on a totally not suspicious site, and it shows. First thing that will happen when booting up the game is that your PC will warn you that the game might be malware, which, while not that scary, it gets you immersed into the style of the game. The intro screen is plain and poorly made, with a solid yellow background and a really scuffed version of Pikachu in the background. Take the yellow color in consideration for what is going to happen shortly. We start the game in a yellow void, with a locked door in front of us. Our grey protagonist contrasts well with the bright yellow background. Going down, we find him. This is Hotako, a disgusting perversion of the recognizable Pikachu. And he sure has some fucked up things to say. After our small conversation makes him hungry, Hotako decides to task us with hunting animals, skinning them and feeding them to him. Yeah, this game involves Pokemon cannibalism. If it wasn't obvious yet, this game's theme is centered around hunger. Yellow, alongside the color red, being the two colors that get someone to feel hungrier faster. Case in point, that one funny cannibalism song that features primarily the colors of yellow and red. Also not related to anything, but I always found the butcher girl from Butcher's Vanity to look eerily similar to a normal Pokemon trainer in terms of appearance. Just me, I guess. Back to the game. The cannibalistic Hotako is nice enough to unlock the door for us before stretching. After going through the door, we end up in this area with ground suspended above a static void. Not longer after traveling, we find this guy, and his dialogue is just as weird as Hotako's.
Do you feel your skin? Doesn't it make you uncomfortable? Feeling trapped inside your skin? Sorry for the uncomfortable question.
Well, fuck you! I didn't sign up for the game to make me feel anxious about my body. For some reason the game bugged here and the letter S remained on screen, which if anything serves to further fuel the scuffed game aesthetic. Not long after this guy you encounter the first Pokemon, and oh my god, what the hell is this thing? It looks like a crying child but blue. Why is it blue? Meanwhile our character is ready gun in hand to murder this baby. And the battle music is just unsettling. The creature's head becomes distorted as we blast it with bullets, until it is no more and we get the skin option, and I'll just let it play out for you. The abrupt silence broken by this unsettling melody and the gruesome visual of what remains of the Pokemon genuinely disturbed me the first time playing. After the fight is over, another area becomes accessible. However, if you were to backtrack to the guy from the beginning, he has some words for you.
I feel bad for that Morrigun. I wouldn't trust that yellow thing if I were you. Do you feel trapped inside your skin?
Well, since you asked so nicely, no! At the end of the second area we find a big black shape, and once we touch it, we come face to face with the head of a dragon. We commit our savage acts again, the game becomes pitch black for a second and then fresh Charizard meat. Back at the beginning, the standing guy has this to say to us.
Why do you keep doing this? These things don't deserve to be eaten. They're more than animals. Please, reconsider hunting them.
The final area of the game is pitch white, quite calming if it weren't for what we were about to do, and I'll just let this fight play out for y'all. This fight is painful. The creature does not even attempt to attack us. It seems to understand something about our character that we don't, and tries to empathize with them, to help them with advice and motivation, but it's useless. We are forced to hunt it down and skin them like the others. Quite reasonably, the standing guy is pissed at us and has some very strong words for us.
You're a monster. You killed him. For what? This yellow thing pays.
Honestly, deserved. Once we make our way back to Hotako, we get the option to dine with him or refuse. If we choose to dine, Hotako thanks us and even says that he is proud of us, calling us a son even. Keep this in mind for later. If we choose to refuse, however, we immediately start a fight with Hotako. We try our best to fight, but he lost any bullets off, and before we could even try to defend ourselves, he sends us to the black hole, a place where we are to rot for eternity. In here we can find one of the Pokemons, and he isn't angry with us. It knows us and him are trapped in this game, forced to do nothing but accept the inevitable. He tries to ask for our help before his dialogue gets blocked and he gets erased. And then we are left all alone in the void to rot. While it is simple to take the game at face value for being just a scary Pokemon game for funsies, there is definitely a story here, and it is based around the themes of hunger, validation, and being comfortable in one's skin. Our protagonist has no self-expression, has no say in what happens, but chooses to follow the desires of the first thing that gives him any sort of validation. He is hungry for it, you could say. If he receives the validation and praise he deserves, he will finally be happy in his own skin. It could also be interpreted that he seeks the validation of a father-like figure. Only after killing the third Pokemon, the only character in the game to give him unconditional support, does our character realize he made a bad mistake, but it's sadly too late to change things. Hotako is a perversion of the companion you have in a normal Pokemon game. Instead of it following you around and doing as you wish, Hotako is the one in the position of power, and you are his errand boy. He is hypocritical in his hunger for others of his own kind. He wants them to be both skinned, yet to pass away peacefully, and he gives a kid a fucking gun to do it. Hotako is a self-centered, hungry monster and is the perfect antagonist for this type of story. Pokiman is one of the most disturbing games that I have played in recent years, and it manages to handle shock horror with an impactful message about why it's bad to seek validation in a beautiful yet disturbing way, and I really recommend checking it out. This being said, I was your host Nokia the Robot, and until next time, play Lunacid, goodbye.
Sticking out your yacht for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity. You're so Phantom Tax. I just wanna be your Sigma. Freaking come here. Give me your Ohio.